So, another release that came out this morning was the trailer for Watch Dogs 2, which is awesome because I kind of just ran through Watch Dogs
Did you finish
again.
it?
No, actually, no, I haven't finished
You're in
it.
the process of going through it.
I just wanted to go through it again, and I was 66% of the way
It's not-
done with
it's
all
not
the
that
side
But did you
mission
meet?
shit.
But did you beat the main mission story?
I
guess?
I did the first time, and then I'm right now going through it again. But I wanted to go back and play it again so that I could beat all the side mission shit, which I only got 66%
The sad thing is,
through.
in that game, the side missions really don't do anything extra. Don't give you.
They don't,
anything
but
extra.
they're fun for me. Like I tried to show him some of the multiplayer hacking
Yeah,
versus
yeah.
people and doing all that.
It's fun
He's
to
not a
piss-
big fan of it, obviously.
It's
'cause
fun to piss people off
people.
in that game, just to make people upset.
Yeah.
That shit should do.
It in the end we were looking at it and I was like, wow, this is gonna be really a shared world hacker shooter.
Mhm.
The new
Yeah.
Watch Dogs. I'm like, yo,
If
I
you-
don't like. How am I gonna even like get anything done? And people are gonna be killing me left and right.
If you've never played Watch Dogs, it's basically the universe of Grand Theft Auto with the, what would you call it?
Say playstyle of Grand Theft Auto with the universe of a kind of like a shared Assassin's Creed feel to
Yeah.
it to a certain
You
degree.
you basically are a hacker. You
Yeah, the
use
new
your
parkour is kind of amazing.
yeah, I'm looking. That parkour looks actually pretty dope.
you use your phone to hack the city, and basically the world is your oyster, as they say.
I'm wondering if in this one they're really going to go even more so with the connection to the Assassin's Creed universe, because in the first
Yeah,
Watch
it
Dog,
was hinted.
well, in the first Watchdog, they blatantly put it in there. One of the assassination targets that you get for one of the side missions is actually the development head of the
Abstergo?
Abstergo company that you play in Black Flag.
In Black Flag?
Yeah, in Black Flag, the boss who's like telling you like, oh, you're gonna do this. He's like, oh, well, I got a business trip that I'm going to Chicago.
I remember, yeah,
And he
yeah.
doesn't come back from Chicago. You kill him as
In Watch
Adrian
Dogs?
Pierce in Watch Dogs. He's one of your targets.
Oh man, I gotta play just to get to that part.
Yeah, he's one of your targets that you fucking kill. So I'm wondering if they're gonna more dig into that with that. I mean, there's actually shout out to Matt Pat with Game Theory. He talked about that a little bit. That it's actually like a shared universe when it comes to that. I'm
Dope.
actually if they're gonna dig more into that with this game, or there's gonna be a bunch of different like rogue agents. If they're gonna touch more into maybe the Assassin Order is still around and stuff.
Yeah.
You deal stuff with the Assassin Order and stuff. It's like a modern day one because they supposedly I didn't finish beating Assassin's Creed Syndicate. They touched on
I'm still gotta get through Unity.
it's not really worth it to be completely honest. They touched on a little bit of the modern day gameplay with
Uh-huh.
some of the outside of the Animus
Yeah.
stuff with Assassin's Creed Syndicate, to where it's like, holy shit, this actually might work really well for a modern day Assassin's Creed. So I'm actually curious if
If they can get a good
Watch
story
Dogs is
together,
gonna
come
be
on,
this.
fucking Ubisoft. Oh god, let's not even talk about this. God,
Ubisoft's just taking forever.
Egypt. Oh god. Anyways,
This is
So-
gonna be really fun.
so what new things did we see coming back with this with the part 2 of Watch Dogs?
Well, just
We don't get Adrian Pierce back. I know that for
No.
sure.
No,
It's a new
it's
guy.
a new guy called Marcus Holloway. Basically, takes over from Aiden Pierce's story, and
I know we get drones.
It's
I know we get
less-
drones.
there were drones.
I wonder if
and
there's going to be a less bland character than Adrian.
what they've taken it to the city of San Francisco, and they've basically not only did we watch the trailer, but we also watched the actual reveal.
9-minute gameplay, yeah.
Well, it was a gameplay trailer. You talk with some of the developers, and they talked about how they wanted to make the world like you can hack everything now. There's a lot of different aspects to it now. So every car will be hackable. Every camera will be hackable.
You could hack like damn near so much stuff in that world in the first Watch Dogs. You could
Yeah,
hack
you could.
a lot
There
of
was a
stuff.
lot of stuff you could hack. What they're trying to do now is not just give you the ability to hack it, because think about what we did in the first Watch Dogs. In order to attract somebody's attention, you raise the forklift.
Yeah.
Right? Now they're trying to make it to where a real hacker wouldn't just be able to make the forklift, raise and lower itself. They want to make it to where you can control everything about the forklift. So you can even drive it.
Yeah.
You can drive it. You can push it into stuff. Any car that has a computer CPU is hackable now. So you can now literally turn the car on and reverse it over people.
Essentially, they want to make Watch Dogs 2 like how they showed off
How they
Watch Dog
should have
1.
done one.
No, how they showed off Watch Dog 1 at its
first.
initial release
Correct.
at the first E3 it
Correct.
was shown at.
So hopefully they'll get it right this time around.
Graphics look pretty good too.
The
The graphics look good. Like you
really-
said, parkour.
really, really
Parkour's looking pretty cool.
I really think they should have done more parkour and more of the parkour aspect in Watch Dogs.
Original.
And it's kind of cool because we got a little bit of a gameplay of him using a drone,
Mhm.
and
The-
so I assume it's just the same as hacking a camera, but at least this way you get to.
Yeah, you
fly
get to
the
be
drone
able to
around.
move it places.
Apparently,
instead of
the
areas.
trailer had a like a drone race where you
Yeah.
had to fly through checkpoints. It was kind of cool.
I'm wondering what far is the range for all of
It's a
of
good
them.
idea.
That's a
Yeah.
good question.
Well, you had your zones you had to unlock in the first Watch Dogs. So probably like as far as if you can.
I want to go across the and I'm wondering if it's
But if
gonna
that zone's not unlocked, you probably can't do it.
I wonder if it's 1-to-1 to actual San Fran, because from what I've heard, Chicago was pretty on the
Pretty
level
accurate,
for,
yeah.
for the most part. I want to drive
Chirac.
across. I want to drive across the
Bay
Golden
Bridge?
Gate, the Golden
Yeah.
Gate Bridge.
Anything else?
Not that I can see.
You think we'll be getting
Just
some
trying to read
hands-on
of the other
playtime at E3?
stuff. I hope so.
Oh well, because I think because they released it,
I think they have to now.
Because they released the stuff so early, because it's really
There must be a lot of it.
it's really odd. Both it and Injustice being
A
released
week before,
a week before.
yeah,
So
yeah.
either they have some stuff already planned that they're going to show, or they're going to
They are. Yeah, I'm reading it right here. They are set to give a demo.
Yeah, so they have a demo ready.
Cool.
But also they probably don't have anything else to show at that point. For their company, or if they do, it's not going to be. There's kind of like stuff they're like, we hope this stuff goes well.
Yeah.
Or
Oh, this is gonna be
and for
fun.
other companies and stuff that already kind of have their cards like showing and stuff like that. Maybe E3 is starting to not become the place people want to show their stuff at anymore.
I would say that only because it's so big that like it could get lost in the shuffle if your game's not big enough. But these are some big games.
Yeah.
It's just the trailer's interesting. It's kind of weird because I don't see anything. Given the cover of it, there's 3 people.
Yeah,
There's the girl that
there-
you mentioned.
there
but
was a
who's,
thing-
Who's the other guy?
There was a thing where you could do you
That's
could
I
do
wonder if you
interesting.
could play as
There-
multiple people.
well basically what they were saying is that you can have people since it's going to be a shared world shooter almost like.
Do you? Would
You're
you?
gonna-
are
well,
you
that's-
gonna
Move your
create a
mic up.
character?
That's
Are
how.
you going to create a character?
I don't
Well,
know.
I don't think you're going to create a character, but maybe I don't know.
That's
but
how
they-
they did Watch Dogs 1. Is
But they were saying that you can get people to help you do your missions with you.
That's how they made Watch Dogs 1, is that the multiplayer universe and the campaign mode universe were merged together. You chose when you decided to be in that
you
world.
were always in your game. You were always Aiden Pierce,
Yeah.
and whoever
to
came
somebody
into your
else,
world
you
would
were
be-
a citizen
yeah.
in the city.
Well, that's how they showed it off, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, kinda. It's the same. It looks like the same kind of play style.
Which is totally weird for me because I played a
because
little
you don't
bit.
like people.
And it's not that I played like I was really into
I don't like people either, but I get it.
I was really into
It's fun for
I don't like
me.
playing with people. That's the difference. I don't. I was really into the latest Grand Theft Auto when it first came out. Was played it, beat it,
Mhm.
and then when I tried to do the Grand Theft Auto online, but I just couldn't get into it because like every 5 minutes I was getting shot by random people.
I don't.
it's like I would turn the game on and get shot.
Watch Dogs
What'd I do?
Online
Like what the
wasn't
like
yeah.
what
What'd I
why,
do?
like why? Why did- I just got robbed and I don't have no money. Like, what the fuck?
Watch Dogs Online wasn't like that. It was more like you have to actually actively accept that you were going to be in somebody else, or they could invade your
It
world,
comes up-
but it wasn't like a major consequence that you would face.
It wasn't a major
if you
setback.
failed.
If you
Yeah, it
failed,
wasn't a
you didn't,
setback.
you
Yeah,
didn't
I
lose
had-
all your money.
I had to like when I finally figured because I stopped playing it for a while and then I just didn't come back to it. But when people are trying to explain to me, it's like, oh, you don't have to get involved in that. You can pay money to go unnoticed. in GTA Online.
Yeah, you didn't have that same issue in Watch
Yeah,
Dogs.
they didn't make it
Yeah,
that
in
difficult.
GTA
you
Online,
either were a part of it or you weren't.
in GTA Online, that's the online part. Whenever you're on the online part, people can
You're online,
just
they can
fuck
fuck
with
you
you or whatever they want to do.
It fucked up my
unless
whole
you go in,
experience. I stopped
unless you
playing it.
unless you go
But
into
it's not
the
like
thing.
that. It's as you're playing, you'll see things pop up that'll be like, oh, there's a fixer contract.
But
Do you
everybody's
wanna
trying
go
to make
after that person.
everybody's trying to make this Destiny like shared world shooter.
Mm.
It seems like I don't know if they can do something like that with this type of game. I think it would be something that's going to change up a little. It's going to be very similar, from what it sounds like, to
It
Watch
seems-
Dogs 1.
What's interesting is that we talked about this simply because we're watching the show that we're watching. It looks very revolutionary.
can mention the show.
well, we're gonna mention it later, but it looks very revolutionary. Is that
Yeah.
the right word?
Yeah,
Well, that was the idea of Watch
definitely-
Dogs 1. Watch Dogs 1 was touching on
But
that
this
a
looks
little bit.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Watch Dogs 1 was touching on it, but it was just like it had Watch Dogs 1's story had no real substance. It didn't.
From the trailer of this one,
this one
looks
seems
like
more like it has substance. To it.
not even that, it just looks like more populated.
Team up and take over the world.
You know what I mean?
That's what it looks like to me.
the world of Watch Dogs 2 just looks more populated than Watch Dogs 1 did. Watch Dogs 1 seemed a little barren.
It depends on
He
what
thinks
version.
there weren't any
Depends
people.
on what version you're playing. I played the PS3 version and the PS4 version. PS3 version, awful port. Oh my god, awful
It
port.
seemed like nobody was there.
It was just an awful port. The PS4 version, actually, the sad thing is, I bought my PS4 so I could play Watch Dogs 1, and I regret that being the reason. But I am glad I got a PS4.
Hey, everybody's got that game, the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
Still playing that
graphically it looked
Yes,
amazing.
I'm aware.
The world felt full of like NPCs and people doing different stuff. It just didn't have substance. Like, why were you doing everything you're doing? It didn't feel like there was a purpose behind everything that you're doing. Story wise, it just didn't make fucking sense. Gameplay wise, it was fun, but it was just like, still why? It just felt like bro was just doing it to do it. For the
Last
most
question.
part.
With how bad great sales on Watch Dogs, the original. Across multiple platforms, awesome sales. With how bad they burnt, everybody collectively felt burnt with Watch Dogs 1, and it was pretty not well received. Do you think people have short memories and they're like, "Fuck it, bring us Watch Dogs 2," or do you think that there'll be a little, because remember there's a big thing. He's like, okay, well, the developers were like, Watch Dogs 2, we're going to rebuild it from the ground up. We're going to have all these changes and everything, and it looks like they made good on their word.
People are still going to be
Here-
cautious because it's Ubisoft.
I don't think so. I think if people, I think the gamers that are smart that watch the gameplay trailer like we did, they're all on the hype train.
I mean,
about it.
well,
No,
we
the
were
reason-
on the hype train in Watch Dogs 1,
Yeah,
and they fucked
the reason why I
But
say
I'm on the hype train even more seeing that.
a lot of your more like your non-casual gamers, I think are going to
Hell,
be
you're
really-
on the hype train. You're the one that's
Yeah.
like,
Or-
I'm
But
hooked.
I-
and that was because of a drone.
But also when I played Watch Dogs, I didn't think it was going to be more than it was. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Much like when I played Destiny, I didn't think it was going to be more than it was. I felt like the game was exactly what I thought it would be.
The more casual gamers, I think, are going to be a lot more leery. More casual gamers, I think, are going to be like, "Oh, this is quite interesting." They'll probably bite on it a little bit more. But the reason I say this is not because of the game itself, but because of Ubisoft's track record.
Yeah.
Ubisoft has been, oh my
Dropping the
god, just
ball.
dropping the ball so
Left
many
and
times
right.
on all their games, whether it be with frame rate issues, graphical issues, whether it become with errors in their games just in general.
PC versions.
PC versions. I mean, Ubisoft and their whole Uplay freaking
Uplay store, oh god,
Uplay
that's not
store
even
and
going
stuff
to
like that. Ubisoft is really
with great IPs, admittedly, with
yeah,
great IPs.
great IPs, but they don't do the IPs right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are kind of
They
like
would
scoping
be-
them and watching them through a freaking magnifying glass to make sure, like, is this going to be the game that they're saying?
For the
Is this
longest
gonna
time,
be really,
Ubisoft
really cool?
was on the rise to become where
I mean,
Rockstar is.
okay,
And they just...
Assassin's Creed series.
yeah. Fatigue.
Freaking Rainbow Six wasn't what it was supposed to be.
Even though well
Division
received.
Division was not what it was supposed to be. It didn't meet the hype that it was supposed to be. It started out really, really well, and then when you get to a certain point, if you don't buy the DLC, that's like
plateaus.
$50. It doesn't plateau. It just is kind of like you start to lose interest in it because you beat the game, and then it's just, and even beating the game, it's just grind fest, grind fest, grind fest. When you have people to play with, it's fun. When you're playing by yourself, it's a grind. When you beat the game, it's a grind if you don't have the DLC
But I'm saying
stuff.
every game is like that now, as a grind fest. Unless you're playing a fighter, of course.
That's not true. Fighters are grind fest too.
I mean, depending on your skill level. I
No,
suppose.
fighters are a grind fest. There's nothing more to a fighter game besides fighting.
But yeah, depending on you. But yeah.
No, not even with skill level. There's nothing really, and I say this as a person who likes
Yeah.
fighting games. There's not really much more to it. It's it's contained. It
But-
has its certain people that it likes, and it's very contained into its community.
as opposed to these other games, you know that's what it is when you get the game.
Yeah, but that's what makes it bland. That's what makes it contained.
Yeah, I'm saying as
Not everybody likes
as,
a fighter though.
as the Divisions and the Destinies and these other games that you were expecting more from. As fighters, when you get the fighting game, it might be bland or
Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V was
exactly what it was.
no. Street Fighter V made it seem like it was gonna have a lot more content than it did when it came
And it
out,
did not.
and it did not. So even in that sense, still, fighting games still suffer from the same thing.
But in a very vague way, though.
No,
An
it's not a
extremely
vague
vague
way
way.
because it's even sadder when it happens to a fighting game because it's a fighting game. There's
But-
not really
and it's
much more to
Capcom.
put in it.
It was a game that didn't have challenge mode versus mode. Like a lot of things were missing out the
I
game.
said, it's when it comes
But-
to
but-
releasing like game titles and stuff like that. It's just one of those things where
But it's far more detrimental to a non-fighting game to not have certain things in it than
I think if
Way
you look
more
at if
detrimental.
if you compartmentalize it into being like a genre based thing. So like for people who are just specifically like whatever type of genre it is, then for them it's like blowing their mind, like what the fuck, with even with like a fighting game, it's like what the fuck, why are people playing this and stuff if they look from the outside. From the inside,
Yeah.
it's just like because I can win or whatever, however they feel, or I can beat this, or I enjoy it, or whatever their thing is. When it comes to like the market as a whole, it's still very rough.
Yeah, but you do see what I'm saying when I say things like the hype for Division
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the grind that you got, or even for more even better for Destiny, we thought it was gonna be more Mass Effect than what it ended up being.
I'll give you and talking about fighting games. Then talking about fighting games, you bought a PS4 for Street Fighter 4.
Specifically,
In Street Fighter 4, you're enjoying it and playing it because you get to play people and
It's
stuff,
exactly
and your
what I
skill
thought it would
level, and
be. Yeah.
you had it was what you thought it would be. But there were some features in the game that they said were going to be in it that weren't in it day of launch.
no, not really. There was no story mode, which we knew about, wouldn't be in the first. There was no arcade mode, and that's it.
Challenge mode. There's no
There is a
really
challenge
there.
mode.
There's no There's a
There wasn't a challenge mode for day one.
no. They had the little goofy freaking.
You're talking about challenge mode with the
the combo
the
stuff
combos,
like that.
yeah, the
that didn't
no
come
combo
out.
challenge, yeah.
There was no combo. There was the combo challenge. There's still technically no real like quote unquote challenge mode.
Yeah, the
And you better not say that goofy little story.
yeah, not the
No,
story mode.
that's not-
I'm talking
no.
about the challenge mode with the how many the battle mode. Where how many people can you beat?
Oh, the survival mode.
Survivor mode, yeah.
It's not a challenge mode. That's a
Have you
survival.
played it?
That's a
Have
survival
you
mode.
played
That's a
it?
survival mode.
It's a fucking
No,
challenge to me.
that's a survival mode. That's not a challenge mode.
Okay, yeah.
But the thing is, still, it was a game that released, and I'm trying to say this in a way that's not biased, because when it comes to gaming, and stuff, the game is gaming.
Exactly. I'm just the only point I'm trying to make is that I think in a game, and this is totally like, this is on its own rant, but I think that in a game, it's more detrimental to a game that's not like if a sports game. Sports game doesn't have certain features. You can still play the game. Like it's more detrimental to like maybe say like an action adventure game or like a shooter that was supposed to have a story and the multiplayer is not working and da 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 da. I think that a game that's at its base is working, like fighters and sports games and any kind of esport games.
Even then, it's not. In my opinion, it's inexcusable to have a football game or a fighting game or a game that's not like the staple game that's supposed to have all this content, quote unquote, to not have content. Because there was a time when
that was just basic.
That you had that in the game.
Yeah.
But now everything's so focused on the whole online aspect.
Much like
they're
a
just
Street
like,
Fighter,
whatever.
But much like a Street Fighter, whose sales did suffer from not having those things, and Score did suffer from not having those things. I don't think that'll hurt it as much in the long run once those things are implemented. Maybe
not.
But a game like what's the monster game 3v3-on-1?
Evolve.
Yeah. A game like that's lacking at the beginning.
Well, the thing was, Evolve.
They're not going to stay around
Evolve,
and play.
Evolve was fucking shooting for the fences when it shouldn't have been. But when it comes to fighting games, though, even then, still the sales are going to suffer to a certain degree. But the reasons why it's not going to suffer as much
over time, people are going to keep playing the game.
No, people are going to keep playing the game, but it's only going to be the niche people that are playing the game. It's not going to be newcomers.
But I don't think there are any niche players when an action adventure game doesn't come out and perform well immediately. People don't stay around.
Yeah. Well, yes and no, because I forgot which one of the Revengeance, Metal Gear Revengeance. It wasn't what anybody thought it was going to be. It wasn't the Metal Gear that people want, but it still blew up.
But it was Metal Gear.
I'm sorry. Did I just prove your shit wrong?
No, but
boom.
But it was Metal Gear.
No. Even with the idea if it's Metal Gear, it's not Metal Gear. It is not Metal Gear.
But it
is Devil May Cry.
But it
is Bayonetta. It is a hack and slash fighting game. It is not the Metal Gear game that Kojima had the idea for.
But you can also say that Street Fighter versus Tekken wasn't that, but having those two names. Anyways,
no. Even with Tekken, did you see any Tekken fans go to that game?
Few. Didn't stay long, but a few.
How many? And they didn't stay long, but how many? There wasn't many Tekken. It was all Street Fighter. Let's not even get started
about how Tekken fans are so fucking finicky.
Yeah, you want blame it on Tekken fans.
Yes, all the ones that come to the tournaments and beg us to have them.
Yeah,
Don't even go to Iron Fist tournament, which is the biggest which is the biggest Tekken.
Maybe if we're nice to them, maybe they'll come out to our tournament.
Maybe they'll go to the Iron Fist tournament, which is the biggest Tekken tournament ever, every year that they don't fucking go to.
Because you're being mean to them.
God, they deserve to be being mean to. They don't support the community. Anyway, on to the next topic.